essential thing that you need to understand is that no matter all the systems that you have, no matter how clever the ideas that you might have to overcome this laziness or something, like you create like the most perfect reward system that fools your brain or something, at the end of the day, you're going to need some kind of driving force. You're going to need either some kind of discipline or you're going to need some kind of motivation. You're going to need something to push you consistently every single day. And the key word is consistency. Now, for a lot of people, they're going to be struggling with motivation every single day. So it's more likely that you'll have to rely on discipline. What discipline specifically is that you are doing things when you don't feel like them. Specifically when you don't feel like them. That's when you're using discipline. So understand that, and you also need to know that you need this thing. Unless you're motivated every single day. If you're motivated consistently every day, great. But I'd still be cautious. You definitely want to develop some amount of discipline in case that motivation isn't there that day. But simply put, the problems of procrastination and laziness, these problems are going to be caused by a lack of systems, too many distractions put in place, and certain feelings and a wrong kind of mindset. But you need to kind of understand that fundamentally the reason for your laziness and the reason for your procrastination is going to be yourself. Until you fix yourself, you're going to continuously deal with these problems. It doesn't matter how perfect these systems that you put in place are, you will continuously struggle with this until you fix yourself, because that is the root core problem. That is the reason why you struggle with almost anything that you do. It is because you have to improve yourself. You have to fix your mindset. You have to fix your thinking. You have to fix yourself. Now, among one of the things out of all the systems, tips, techniques, tricks that you can use, a schedule is one of the first things I'm going to mention. This thing works for some people, it doesn't work for others. But if you haven't tried to use one, you should definitely consider using one. It can definitely shape your day exactly as you want it, consistently day in after day. A schedule is, of course, only really effective, again, if you have the discipline and you have the willpower to resist things and to do the things you're supposed to do when the time does come along. But the reason why you'd like to use a schedule, the reason why it's so powerful, or it can be so powerful, is what happens is you've essentially planned out exactly what your ideal day should look like. So whenever you're making a schedule, you should be writing down what your ideal day looks like, what you'd want to do if you were the most motivated, the most productive, most disciplined person. You write down what the ideal day is. So now you have a goal to work towards automatically, which allows you to know what you're working towards, know what productive means, know what actually being disciplined means. It means following this schedule for each and every single task until the end of the schedule, and you repeat it the next day and again and again and again. The reason a schedule is so effective, however, is because whenever you do look at your schedule, what's essentially happening is that you're looking at each task you need to do, and this is like an input towards your brain. So long as you're disciplined or maybe motivated enough to do it, you look at the input and it's just, you know exactly what you should be doing, you input it, and basically your brain's already going into processing mode. It's already thinking about how it's going to do it. A schedule, like I said, works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. Some people have things constantly changing in their days, so making a schedule is just too time consuming and it's causing problems and stuff. But it can also be really effective if your days tend to be quite similar and there's usually specific things you need to do. But it takes discipline or motivation. You'd probably I don't even know why I would say motivation. It takes discipline to follow the schedule consistently every single day. It is your duty to follow it every single day. But what a schedule is going to let you do is know the meaning of what it is to be productive. It gives you an idea of what productive means, and now you have a goal to work towards. Now, the second thing that is essential, this is the second system trick thing to overcome the procrastination and laziness that you're dealing with. This can help. This won't obviously solve the problem completely, as long as you are the problem. right? You need to fix yourself, like I said. But what the second thing you can do is you should change your environment in many ways. So what I mean by change your environment is remove bad things from your environment. So things that might entice you, might tempt you to do things that waste your time. If you have a video games console, you should probably get rid of that. You don't need it, you know it only wastes time, and if you see it, then it gives your brain almost like an input. It sees the console and it thinks, oh, I need to play now. Since it's there anyways, oh, it's only a couple meters or something away, I need to play. If you have especially if you have an addiction or something, that's even worse. But you need to remove these things from your environment, and then also you need to make your environment actually tidy and clean. So if you have a messy environment, you probably won't be able to think. You will probably feel more lazy, and what ends up happening when you feel more lazy and you can't think, because even if you try to do work, you can't really do work anyways, you're probably going to procrastinate again on the thing that you need to do. So you have to actually make sure your environment is tidy and clean. And the third thing about the environment, so you have the first thing, which is to remove these temptations from the environment. Number 2 is to tidy it up. But the third thing that you need to be able to do is to associate that environment with the task that you have in mind. You almost dedicate that environment solely to work, for example. Whenever you go to this room, it's only for work. You start to associate your brain with work whenever you go in that room, and you automatically just start working, because it's almost like an input to the brain. It's like you already know what you're supposed to do. You go in the room, you know the room is only for work, and what's going to end up naturally happening is that you're going to work. So you should specifically allocate certain environments just for what you want to do. So you create another room you allocate another room for relaxation, for example. So your brain knows, when I'm in this room or I'm in this environment, then I can relax. However, when I'm in this room, I need to do work. So the second point is that you should optimize your environment best for yourself. Now, the third thing that you could do to remove your procrastination, to solve your laziness, and this is the final thing, well, kind of, is you could try to use motivation. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, motivation? Well, what are you on about? This isn't going to help me do the thing. That I can't just rely on motivation. I don't always feel motivated. I just can't wait for this. See, what a lot of people misunderstand, and what a lot of people also like to say, is that motivation is apparently this inherently bad thing. Well, that's what a lot of people get confused with. It's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing to rely on it, simply. But you can actually be motivated consistently, and the way you do this is you need to figure out why you're doing this certain thing. So you need to have a specific goal in mind. You think about that goal for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you just do the work you're supposed to do. And then you know you're doing this because you're doing it for that goal. And you also need to realize you're choosing to do this work for this higher purpose. And then there's anything else that perhaps might motivate you. So you listen to music, you say certain things to yourself. These other things can help motivate you as well. But the important thing is being able to motivate yourself consistently. Now, like I said, motivation isn't inherently a bad thing. It's only a bad thing when you rely on it. On the times that you can't use motivation, you need to realize that you're probably going to have to rely on discipline. And for most days, you probably will have to do that. But ideally, you would want to be motivated, right? Because it means you enjoy the work, you're gonna do it to your fullest potential, and you want to do it again. So if you can find ways to trigger motivation on a consistent basis every single day, you're more likely to do the thing you actually want to do. But like I said, don't rely on motivation, rely on discipline, because discipline is more than consistent. You don't have to worry about how you feel, you just do it. So those are the three things. Those are the three things that might help you with procrastination, laziness. If you actually follow them, if you actually use them, do as I've said, you'll probably find that procrastination and laziness will probably be gone. But like I said towards the start of the video, fundamentally, your own problems with procrastination and laziness, or even coping, right, come down to yourself. You need to fix yourself. You need to fix your own mindset, your own mind. Because unless you do so, you're going to continuously struggle. You're going to continuously avoid the work you're supposed to do. No matter how perfect the systems in place are, no matter how much encouragement you get, even if there's literally other people telling you to do it, that you're supposed to do it, you might not even end up doing it until you fix your own mindset. Because the fundamental problem with your procrastination, with your laziness, with your avoidance of work, and not wanting to push hard is going to be yourself. You need to develop that discipline to consistently do the work. You need to develop the right kind of thinking and mindset. Once you fix these things, once you fix yourself, you will find it a lot easier to actually start doing the work you need to do.